What's going on, everybody? Project Resolve finally dropped into Division 2, so you know what time it is. It's time to start making build videos. Now, in today's video, I want to show you guys what I think is going to be the new meta build for SMGs. For anybody that mains SMGs, you're going to like this build, so keep watching. Now, let's get into it. Now, for all my new players that are playing the Division 2, you're going to want to use the Firewall Medkit. Now, this medkit gives you 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds. It's one of the best medkits in the game. You could use Gunner if you like using Gunner, but I personally like the Firewall. That's why I'm using it. Now, for my specialization tree, I am using SMGs, ARs, and shotguns. Those are the three main guns that I normally use. That's what I have. Make sure you increase what you use the most. So I use them the most, so I get 15% damage for all three. Okay, now this is an SMG build, so we are using the best SMG in the game. For anybody that doesn't know, the Ouroboros is one of the best guns in the game right now, and for SMGs, I would say it's probably the best gun overall. Now, for this gun, we have 24 weapon damage expertise. I have maxed out SMG damage, crit hit chance, and I rolled 10% targets out of cover on it. Targets out of cover is probably the best thing that you can go for, that or damage to armor, but it's totally up to you guys. Whenever I'm fighting people, we're normally fighting out of cover, so that's why I chose that. Now, if you look at the exotic talent for the Ouroboros, it's called Rule Them All. Now, what this does is basically if somebody hits you with bleed, fire, your next magazine in the Ouroboros is going to shoot out that exact same status effect towards them, which is another reason why it helps this gun be the best gun in the game. So if you don't have it, make sure you go farm this gun because you need it immediately. Now, for our secondary, we're using the MA70 Express shotgun. We're not really going to main this shotgun. This is an SMG build. We're only using this shotgun in case we run out of bullets or we want to shoot some NPCs. Other than that, you're not really going to use the shotgun that much. For our mask, we're running the electric mask with critical hit chance, critical hit damage mod, and then armor rolled on the core attribute. We want to stack armor on this build, so you're going to see we're going to have a lot of armor pieces on this build just in general. For our chest piece, we are running the named version of electric, which is the Henry chest piece. Now on this chest piece, we have critical hit chance, critical hit damage mod with the armor rolled on the core attribute. Now for our talent, we are using Perfect Companion. Perfect Companion is already one of the best DPS talents in the game for chest pieces. Now, what this talent does is basically if you are within 10 meters of an ally or a skill, you gain 20% weapon damage. Now, for our backpack, we are using the Sokolov backpack, which gives us, for the brand set, 10% SMG damage. Now, on the attributes, we're running critical hit chance, critical hit damage mod with the weapon damage rolled on the core attribute. Again, for the talent, we're using Companion. So right now, as you already seen, we're running Perfect Companion on the chest piece, and we're running Companion on the backpack. So you have two companions, and again for the talent, as long as you're with, this is regular companion though, this isn't perfect, so you have to be within 5 meters of an ally or in skill to get the 15% weapon damage. For our gloves, we are running the electric gloves, which gives us 30% SMG damage if you run 3 pieces. That's why I have 3 pieces. I have the mask, the chest piece, and now the gloves. So we get 30% SMG damage plus the Sokolov, which gives us 10%. Now, for this, on this glove, we have critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and the armor rolled on the core attribute. Again, we want to stack armor. Now, for our knee pads, we are running the Fox Pair knee pads. Again, this is one of the best items in the game, so we're using it because it's best in slot. Now on these knee pads for the attribute, it comes with damage to targets out of cover 8% because it is a named item. Now on the attributes, I have critical hit damage, and then the core attribute I rolled on armor. Well, again, we're just stacking armor just so we can help make us survive a little bit longer before we get shredded. For our holster, we're using the Picaro's holster. If you don't know by now, this holster is one of the best in slots because you can get weapon damage rolled on the attribute without having to roll it on the core attribute. So it's kind of like a cheat way, but you get extra damage while still having armor. Now on this, we have critical hit damage and armor rolled on the core attribute. Again, you have basically both. It's kind of like an exotic. You can have one of each of the 3. That's what this is. That's why it's best in the slot. So make sure you put this on your build for sure. Now, because we're running double companion, we have to find a skill that's going to help us keep companion proc. That way we get that 35% total weapon damage from both pieces. Now, what I've seen to work for me is the Seeker Mine. Now, what I do is I have the explosive Seeker Mine, and I just keep it rolling next to me. The duration of this Seeker Mine, I want to say, is around either maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So you can keep it on you for an extremely long time. So again, this is what I use. You can use whatever you want, but I personally like to use the Seeker Mine just to keep it rolling next to me. That way I keep my extra damage proc the entire time. Now for my second skill, I am using the EMP Sticky. This again is one of the best skills in the game, just because if I shoot it at the ground at somebody, it staggers them completely. Now I've heard people say that they were supposed to eliminate the staggering in this game. That's completely false. As soon as you shoot somebody at the foot or at the ground and just in general, they'll get staggered and you can shred them immediately without even giving them a chance to fight. So until they eliminate that, the EMP Sticky is still going to be the best skill to use in PvP to immediately destroy somebody without giving them a chance to fight back. Okay, so for our weapon stats, we have 127,000 weapon damage total for the build. We have 42,000 PvP damage. That might seem a little low to you guys. Don't worry, this build shreds immediately. So don't worry about that for the PvP damage. Now for our crit chance, we are 60 crit chance, 163 crit damage. Our headshot damage is only 70. I mean, I'm not really aiming for heads. I'm on controller, so I know my aim is terrible, so I aim for the body. Now, let's get into our DPS stats. Okay, so if you look at our all weapon damage, we're at 64% all weapon damage from just our gear. And if you look at our SMG damage, we have 70% SMG damage. Now, I wrote up everything on the side of the screen that you can look at. We have our weapon damage is 64%, SMG damage is 70, our talents from double companion is 35% total. And then we got multiplicative damage, which is from our SMG third attribute, and then from our knee patch fox prayers, which is 8%. So total, it's 18%. So if you look at our total damage all together throughout the whole build, we're at 187% weapon damage. And that's not even including the multiplicative damage, which you're going to get extra damage in PvP. So again, this build hits extremely hard. You have to test it out for yourself just so you can see how hard this build hits. For the people that actually want to see the build in the Dark Zone, I have some gameplay coming up right after this. But if you don't worry. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you didn't, comment down below with any questions or concerns. It's the one and only ClutchGoneShoot, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.